And then they decided there was this architect. I'm bad with names, so now I don't remember. But he got inspired by this park in France, which was called Tivoli, and that's why the name Tivoli stayed. And he started like more intentionally putting where he will put the trees and then, if you remember yesterday, I was talking about the architect Jože Plečnik, who really did a lot of things in Ljubljana, and I talked about the dragon lines. So the dragon line go all the way to that little castle. That's the connection from there to actually to Ljubljana. So like if you go here straight, you will come there. So then he made it like he renovated even more, that he made these walking places, and I'm not sure if this fountain is from that time or new, but he kind of did also there's a little fishing pond there, like to make it even more as a modern park. And yeah, nowadays actually also tourists, but also Slovenian people, we go here a lot, either with children or playing, or we had capoeira classes, or they use like lines. It's quite a huge for us. Slovenia is small, so this is a huge park for us. You can see a lot of squirrels. That's really cute. Like if you will have some leftovers of food, you put somewhere, they will probably come. They are really a lot. And as we are in this nice environment, today our dear mestre Versatil will
Okay, so we're done. So to tell you this series of stories, I first need to tell you a little about myself, because we're going to be talking about some of the more famous Orixas. I myself was born in the United States but raised in North Africa. My father was raised for a number of years in Nigeria. So he and I are both Muslim, but my father is also a Babalao in Ifa. Ifa is the Nigerian religion of the Yoruba people that, when it came to the Americas, became Santeria in Cuba, it became Candomblé in Brazil, and then that evolved into things like Umbanda. And so I grew up with the Yoruba culture as well as Muslim culture in my house. As well now, my mestre, capoeira, his religion is candomblé. Just like my brother here, he is an ogan, so he is a player of the drums for the candomblé ceremonies, as well as a dancer. Today we have a dancer here and an ogan, so it's a perfect pair, and I'm so happy to have my brother here. And then as well, my Kung Fu Shifu Earl White, also trained a lot of African martial arts on the continent, in Gambia, Senegal, Guinea, Nigeria, and South Africa. But he's also a Babalao in Ifa. So a lot of my knowledge of the Orixas comes from Ifa, comes from the Odu Ifa, as well as from the point of view of Candomblé. And my grandfather, actually, my mother's father was a Sunday, so you get a little bit from there. So this is not just something that I've studied in books, but something that I've lived. I've gotten up, and my dad said, "Okay, we're gonna go to do the ceremony." I'm like, "What ceremony?" It's like, "Just sit tight, you'll see." So it's part of me, but I also want to invite Professor Mychell to add, because for me this is part of my culture, but for him this is his religion. So I want him to feel free to add anything that he likes. And as well, because he's versed in the music and the songs, possibly as we are looking or talking about the Orixas, he may decide to play some of the music of the specific Orixas. So we begin where we always begin, at the crossroads. One road here, one road there. And we begin with Eshu. whenever we dance or play music for the Orixas, we will generally begin with Eshu. Eshu is the messenger and opens the pathways for our connection to all of the other Orixas when we're in ceremony. Eshu is omniscient, which means that Eshu knows everything about the past, the present, and the future. And Eshu may or may not give you an answer directly, because Eshu is a trickster. Eshu is malandragem. Eshu is always present in capoeira because we are always finding ways to hide and to be doing things in the smartest possible way. Always problem solving. And in order to allow us to strengthen ourselves in that way, Eshu will always give us problems. And if we face those problems with high character and with the best of intentions, then we may come up with a solution that gets us to where we need to be. If we allow those problems to take us to our base self, low vibration, then it will remain a problem. Things may get worse. So we always begin an open path.
Exu, você me ajuda, mestre. Exu, orixá. Exu é caminho.
Eshu is the road, the pathway.
Exu, ele foi paciente. Ele aprendeu, vendo e observando Oxalá a criar, a modelar o homem.
So he's very patient, and he sat and watched Oxalá creating humans.
O castelo de Oxalá, o Orum, ficava aqui.
The castle of Oxalá was there.
Todos iam, levavam presentes, mas não ficavam. Exu ficou e observou por muito e muito tempo.
So
até
many of the
aprender.
Orixas would come and bring reverences and gifts for Oxalá, but Eshu stayed and observed.
Então Oxalá o presenteou com uma função, com um trabalho. Para chegar a Oxalá, se seguia um caminho. Exu passou a ser o guardião do caminho.
So he was then, before this, given a function by Oxalá that in these passages in the path, he is now the guardian of the path.
Todas as pessoas, todos os orixás, todos que queriam levar presentes e pedidos a Oxalá, primeiro precisavam passar por Exu.
So anybody who wants to go and make an entreaty to Oxalá, the Orixás, must start with Eshu, pass through Eshu's gate.
E como recompensa por esse trabalho, todos precisavam dar comida a Exu primeiro. Porque se Exu comer, ele leva a mensagem. Se ele não comer, ele não leva a mensagem. Tanto isso, ele não é o orixá mais velho, mas ele é o primeiro que come.
So in this way, his reward for this function is that whenever somebody comes to bring an entreaty or a message to Oxalá, they must feed Eshu first. Eshu is not the oldest Orixá, but he is the first who eats.
Tudo funciona desta forma. O mundo gira, a água flui, a nossa respiração trabalha neste círculo. Todos caminhamos dessa forma. Exu é o único que faz o contrário. Ele pode fazer isso, porque ele é caminho. Ele não está em apenas uma estrada, ele está em todas. Ele consegue voltar no xirê. É o único que consegue retornar, regredir.
So as the universe turns in one direction and air moves and we breathe it in and breathe out and water flows in this direction, concentric circles and rotations, everything moves in that direction, but Eshu is able to go in the opposite direction, across, back and forth, because he is the way and he's able to create those pathways and move as is necessary for him. So now I want to look at maybe 4 or 5 of the Orixás that are probably the most known and that tend to represent themselves in society and in capoeira. And one way that we think of Orixás and really any gods within native pantheons, be it the Norse mythology, be it Egyptian mythology, be it Yoruba mythology, they have a function that reflects within us as individual humans, as well as society, as well as nature. They're archetypes. In some cases, they're actual people who existed, who represented that ideal, and were then elevated to this level of a deity. And so one that we often talk about because we have Shango. So Shango is the king. Shango is the archetype of kingship. Most of the Orixas have a certain warrior aspect to them. So a lot of the Orixas, they have their characteristics. They may also have an implement, something that they carry, something that they use. Shango is the Orisha of fire, of lightning. He is, again, kingship. He is male beauty. So a good-looking guy who is strong and powerful, charismatic. This is Shango. The other side of that is vanity. Good-looking man may know that he's a good-looking man. So there's that vanity aspect. But Shango is the king. But some people will say he's similar to Thor in that there's the relationship with lightning and storms. But this is the way that not a king, but the king is defined in this way. Shango.
Xangô, Alpanixé, Caô, Caô, Cabiecile, rei de Oió. Xangô é uma figura de liderança.
Shango is the figure of leadership. He is the
Oió.
Oyo. He's the king of Oyo, and the figure of leadership.
Então, uma das grandes características de Xangô é essa figura imponente de justiça. Xangô representa a justiça dentro do culto, é uma energia de equilíbrio. O que é certo, Xangô presenteia. O que é errado, Xangô parte com seu machado. Então,
So Shango is one of the things that Shango presents is justice, especially the balanced side of justice. You can see by the shape of the machado, it's both sides. So if things are correct, then he presents them forward, and if not, cuts. So, in many stories, the Orishas have partners. So if we're talking about Shango, then we may as well talk about his queen, Oya, Yansan. So she is a very powerful woman warrior. A lot of people talk about her in terms of Maria dos Leones, Maria Bonita, all the Marias, right? And she is, just as Shango is lightning, she's thunder, she's the wind, she's storms, right? The rain. And there's an aspect of feminine power that makes men uncomfortable. It's that we call hysteria in English. The root word of hysteria is what?
Uterus, no?
Is haster, the uterus, right? And so we say, oh, you're being hysterical because you're speaking from your core and you're moving from your core. So within the idea of Ifa, this is a woman's power. It's not something to be ridiculed. It's not something to be shamed. Whereas in a lot of our cultures, it's something that we put down. Oh, you're screaming, calm down. Oh, don't be so crazy. But this is a woman in her power, taking command, taking control. So this is Oya Yansan.
Oiá, no culto de orixá temos orixás masculinos e orixás femininos. Orixás masculinos em queto chamamos de boró e femininos iabás.
So in the court of Orixas, he's from the Keto lineage, so feminine archetypes are Bodo and masculine
Iabás.
Yabais.
Cada orixá é uma representação energética da natureza enquanto externa e da própria natureza interna da pessoa.
So each Orisha is a representation of different energies or patterns of nature in the world as well as our own natures within ourselves.
Oiá é a senhora dos ventos tempestuosos, das fortes tempestades e ventanias. Oiá é uma Iabá que guerreia com qualquer um. As filhas de Iabá, as filhas de Oiá, são mulheres fortes, que não, até me arrepio, que não se calam à adversidade. Oiá, ela é mulher de Xangô, é mulher de Ogum também, caminhou com grandes guerreiros e nunca caminhou atrás, sempre ao lado ou até à frente.
So Oya is a powerful woman figure who is the mistress of the storm winds. She is a warrior who, she's partner of Shango, also at times partner of Ogun, and they walk together. She's never behind. She's always equal or even at times walking ahead. If we have Oya, then you must have some sweetness. Oshun. All these people, look, we have very much Oshun right here. And she is the Orisha of love, sweetness. In some ways you can think of her as one of the 3 stages of womanhood, where we have the younger lover, sometimes coquettish, sometimes a seductress, and then at the same time we have Yemaja, who's more of the mother archetype, but both are represented by mermaids, right? And then we have the grandmother archetype, depending on the reference, may not be considered an Orisha, but may be considered an Oujat and Nana. So then we have that grandmother who takes care of people in dire need as well as taking care of children. So you can think of them as 3 levels of almost a similar being. But this is love, this is the remembrance to speak sweetly if you want to calm things down and arrive at a solution rather than always having to speak with anger. The idea of attracting more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Oxum, senhora vaidosa, bela e parceira. Oxum é a senhora das águas calmas, das águas doces e cristalinas, mas engana-se aquele que pensa que Oxum é doce. As águas calmas escondem por debaixo muitos perigos. Então Oxum é uma grande estrategista. Ela consegue, com a sua beleza e a sua doçura, conquistar os seus adversários, vencer os seus adversários sem precisar levantar a espada. Ela apenas, com a doçura cristalina das águas, adoça e manipula. Então o Oxum é muito perigosa.
So this is beautiful because she is the Orisha of the sweet waters, the calm crystal waters, of beauty, of sweetness. She's also as Shango is Vaidosa is I just used that word in English now. I forgot.
Vain, no?
Vain
Yeah.
is vain. She knows her beauty, but at the same time she's a brilliant strategist, and she's very, very dangerous because she can use her correct words, her beauty, her way of presenting things to draw you in calmly. She can wage a war and win a war without ever having to lift the sword. She is diplomacy. She is the wisdom of engagement. And we have is the mother archetype. She is the mother of the Orixas. She is of the ocean waters, the salty waters. Just as the oceans are the birthplace of all life, she is the birthplace of life. She is the one who engenders life and growth, the nurturer. Very wise and very powerful, and is highly respected because of her position as the great mother.
Iemanjá. Eu sou filho de Iemanjá.
She's a child of Iemanjá.
Iemanjá, uma orixá materna. Ela é a mãe de todas as cabeças. Praticamente todas as pessoas vão trazer a energia de Iemanjá porque ela é essa mãe. Ela é como o mar que abraça todas as espécies ali que sobrevivem, que navegam, que nadam, que se banham nas suas águas. Então, Iemanjá é esse cuidado, mas como uma mãe cuidadosa é doce com seus filhos, ela pode ser tempestuosa com aqueles que podem atacar, que podem fazer mal aos seus peixinhos, né? Às suas crias. Então, Iemanjá, dentro dos caminhos, ela pode ser uma água calma, plana, tranquila, mas se ameaçar, ela pode ser um tsunami, uma grande tempestade. A Iemanjá é esse amor materno que protege como uma leoa.
So she's the maternal Orisha. She's of the waters from which all life comes, that nurture us, as all of us. She's the mother of almost all heads. So every individual, because we all go to the sea to bathe in her, to use the waters, and she's very protective of her creations, of her children, all of us. But in that same way, similar to Oshun, the waters can be very calm, can lead you to all the places that you need to go if you're a fisherman or a trader on the sea. But she's very protective, so she can become a tsunami and drag you under. The things that are under are very dangerous and very deadly. So both of these, the legend of the mermaid coincides with these because mermaids have this beautiful voice that calls and that can keep sailors from hitting the rocks and can keep them sailing in calm waters, but can also bring them against the rocks and bring them to their death. So both of these things can happen depending on what mother wants. As a technologist myself, Oguye! So Ogun Guerrero is very much the warrior's warrior. He is he's like Hephaestus. He is the blacksmith responsible for forging iron and steel and all technologies that come from that point. If you go to Kua, and they have a whole bunch of really old cars that they keep up, and they're really beautiful from the 50s because of the embargo that the United States placed on them. So they have to repair and fix up these old cars. So if you go into a taxi cab in Cuba and it's not starting, you'll sometimes see the taxi cab driver pray to Ogun to get the cab to start, because Ogun is technology. Ogun is the warrior that bathes in blood. So the other part of it, he is similar to Shango, justice, but there is this self-righteous and righteous anger. There's a story from the Odu Ifa where Ogun left his village and was supposed to be back in a certain period of time. During that period of time, the people in his village were doing a religious ceremony where they had to remain in silence for a week or 2 weeks. I think it was a week. He comes back and walking the village. Hello, hello. Everyone is silent. Nobody says anything. He's wondering, why is nobody talking to me? What's wrong? Why have they abandoned me? And he gets angry and then kills everyone in the village. And after this, he is so sad about what he has done or what has happened, what he has done. He leaves, and the only one who can bring him back is Oshun. And she talks to him and tells him what had really happened, and he's devastated. But she also finds a certain wisdom in the situation and brings him back to his village.
Você falou muito bem. Falou sobre o Itanda, aquele porta-cabeça do sul, né? Ogum é um general de batalha. Ogum é o verdadeiro Olodé. Olodé são caçadores. Ogum é o senhor da tecnologia. Ele é o senhor das ferramentas da agricultura, da caça, de todos os avanços tecnológicos da humanidade. Ogum ensinou Oxóssi a caçar. Ele deu o ofá, a ferramenta que Oxóssi caça, e ensinou Oxóssi como caçar na mata. Então, eu ia falar sobre esse Itã, o mestre falou muito bem. Ogum é esquecido, né? Ele tem essa coisa, é uma característica. Ele é uma fúria, ele é quente como a forja a qual ele molda o seu aço. Mas também é estratégico. Então, Ogum, para ser equilibrado, ele não pode simplesmente atacar. Ele aprendeu de uma forma muito ruim. Então, ele precisa parar, pensar, montar uma estratégia para saber como afiar o aço e cortar da melhor forma.
So, Ogum is the father of war. He is the chief of, or the commander of the battle. As I said, he has this part that can be angry, but through this and through that process of the story, he learned that he must be strategic, and instead of just attacking, to appraise his obstacles and then sharpen his blade and learn how to attack. He is the one he is the chief of all technical and technological advancements. So from blacksmithery to agriculture to carpentry and hunting. He is the one who taught Oxóssi how to hunt and how to fix his flesh. So for me, one of the ways that I think about the Orixas in capoeira is, people will say capoeira has no religion, but it has a culture. And this religion is part of the culture. So it doesn't mean that you have to be part of the religion, but understanding what these archetypes mean will give you a better understanding of capoeira. There's no inducement to being a religious person in capoeira, but a lot of people who do capoeira are religious, and they bring their religions, including Islam, including Ifa, to the Roda. But these archetypes, these Orixas, are symbolic of things like the Mestre said, within us, that are our own parts of our own ways of being, and we represent them in the Roda. Overall, we're always representing Yeshu because we are trying to have as much Munjing as possible. But sometimes we are being Shango, so we're doing a lot of big movements. Maybe we're doing flips, a lot of bonichis moves in the Roda. We're very strong. Sometimes we're playing really beautiful, and then all of a sudden, got you. So we're being Oshun. Maybe sometimes we are very direct and we're plotting out very technical. Not a lot of fluff in the game. You may come into the Roda very emotionally charged, very not caring, showing a lot of energy, and maybe you're being So in understanding these ways of being, we can choose what we want to do. We can see in ourselves as we play, oh, I'm being a little bit too Shango, maybe I need to be a bit more Ogun. Or maybe, oh, this is a person who's very, very sneaky. So I'm actually going to be in Oshun right now. I'm going to be really nice and then wait until the right time. I'm going to bring in a little bit of Oshosi and I'm going to find that one opening and send my one flecha and use that. So this is what I want us to think about when we go to the Roda afterwards, is how we will embody these Orixas. And we're going to do an exercise before that in order to kind of figure it out a bit, kind of in a movement sense. So if you go to Nigeria and you see the dances of the Orixas, and then you go to Cuba and you see the dances of the Orixas, and then you go to Brazil and you see the dances of the Orixas. They're all different. They're all different, but they have a lot of the same components. Se viajar na Nigéria, vê as danças de Orixás. Também Cuba, também Brasil. Os mesmos Orixás são danças diferentes, mas tem as características que são, and you have characteristics que são mesmas, that are the same. For instance, almost everywhere where you see Ogun, there's the cutting movement with one hand, ba, like this. In Nigeria, similar. In Brazil, similar. In Cuba, similar. Other Orixas have other things. Both Iemanjá and Oshun maybe looking at their mirrors, being very beautiful and feminine. Some of the movements that we worked when we were at the fountain yesterday, dancing, were Orisha movements. And he was good enough to sing the Orishas when I was dancing. And you might not have been able to tell, but it's part of the relationship. For instance, when we're in the Roda, we have a relationship with the music and the people playing. Same thing with the dances for the Orishas. Because in this case, drumming and singing and dancing are a way of praying, a way of harmonizing with those energies, as well as entreating them and bringing them into yourself. So I'm going to ask you all to pick out of these Ogun, Shango, Oshun, and
Exu.
Iemanjá. Because Eshu is going to be in us all the time anyway. Pick one. Which one is your favorite? Iemanjá. Iemanjá people over here. Anybody's Iemanjá over here? Iemanjá is the mother. How about Shango? Who likes Shango?
What is Shango?
Okay, Shango.
Show us.
This is Shango. So these people here are Shango.
Before?
What about, what are you guys? Iemanjá, good. Let's see. What about Oshun? Who likes Oshun? No? Okay, no Oshun. Yeah. Okay. How about then, where is Ogun? Which one do y'all like? What? Ogun.
I want to be more technologically.
Okay, so Ogun. What about you all? Okay, so stand over by Mychell. So we have love and sweetness and strategic speech. We have, you guys are Shango. We have the king, the warrior.
Iemanjá.
Oh, Iemanjá, sorry. The mother. The mother's over here. The mother's over here. You all are?
Shango.
Shango. So kingship, vanity, strength, justice.
Here she comes.
Ocean. So, you have Ocean right here. So you have 10 minutes to huddle up, get together with your people.
Ora ieu!
Ora
Ora ieu!
Ora ieu!
Oromima, oromimayo, oromimayo, yabato ayeu. Oromima, oromimayo, oromimayo, yabato ayeu. Oromima, oromimayo. Oromimayo, yabato ayeu. Oromima, aya Oxum, aya Oxum. Oromima, oromimayo, oromimayo, yabato ayeu. Oromima, oromimayo. Ei, oromima, oromimayo, oromimayo, yabato ayeu. Oromima, oromimayo, oromimayo, yabato ayeu. Aya Oxum, Oxum ora ieu. Aya Oxum ora ieu. Aya Oxum. Odoia, Odoia, Kinigé Nilé Odô, Iemanjá o, Kinigé Nilé Odô, Iemanjá o, Acota Pelece, Ia Oromio, o Kinigé Nilé Odô, Iemanjá o, Acota Pelece, Ia Oromio, Kinigé Nilé Odô, Iemanjá o, Acota Pelece, Ia Oromio, o Kinigé Nilé Odô, Iemanjá o, Acota Pelece, Ia Oromio, o Kinigé Nilé Odô, Iemanjá o, Acota Pelece, Ia Oromio, o Kinigé Nilé Odô, Iemanjá o, Acota Pelece, Ia Oromio. Sile,
Caô, cabecile.
Opa Nixé Caô, Caô Cabecile. Vou até tocar a luz já pra vocês. Obala Kinibá, Obala Kinibá, Obala Kinibá, 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 Kinibá Xangu. Obala Kinibá, Obala Kinibá, Obala Ogunye patakori jasi mani mani ogun alabesan oru. Ogunye, 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 Ogunye. Akoro, okode, akoro, okode. Pa mi ogun meje akoro, okode. Pa mi ogun meje akoro, okode, akoro, akoro.
And sometimes we have students who want to be, I want to go everywhere, I want to do everything. And mestres who are like, okay, but let's just kind of, and there's a tension between those things. And I think that's a natural thing. But as we open up and figure out how to democratize, how to create space where everybody gets to really address what's necessary inside of them, there's also stepping into a level of responsibility in taking that power. A level of then taking the accountability when things don't go right, or a level of having to figure it out when maybe you've not taken an Orisha dance class, like maybe most of you have not, and yet you all figured out how to represent that movement, how to represent those feelings. And everybody came with, it was a part of who you all were, as individuals as well as that group. And I think this is what capoeira needs. Again, as I always talk about ownership, we must own our capoeira, as we at the same time seek a path with people who come from the roots and who have that original knowledge to pass along, because we, as we go into capoeira, we end up with the responsibility of carrying this culture and moving it forward. It's always evolving, we're adding more to it, but we can never leave. You can't just take a leaf and be like, here we go. No, there's a tree with a lot of roots, and we have to bring all of those with us. So I just want to congratulate you on this exercise in doing so. It was very successful, very beautiful. I was moved watching it. I'm sure we were all entertained. The last part for me will be later on. In the Roda, when we're playing, I want you to remember your Orisha. And I want you to play using those aspects of your Orisha to characterize your movements. Have fun with it. Don't worry about it being right or wrong. Just be. Act funky. Do something fun. Do something silly in the game. And don't worry about winning or losing or dominating. Worry about embodying. Bring that energy. Read the energy from the other person and figure out how is it when our energies combine. This is a way of really understanding connection. Right?